Hey tea heads, this is Don from Mayleaf. In this video, discerning the taste of raw pu'erh. In this video, we're going to be diving in to try to figure out how to tease out the flavors of different raw pu'erhs. I'm joined here by George. Say hello to the world, George.
Hello, I'm George.
George is fresh at the Mayleaf crew, so if you come into the tea house, you may well be lucky enough to be served by George here. Why don't you let everybody at home know about you, your tea story, give us a little bit about your background.
Okay, so I've been drinking tea since like forever, basically, but it
Forever?
was like
Really? Forever?
It was the tea bag type, like from the bottle I'd be drinking tea.
Okay.
So it progressed from there. I got into like secondary school and I was like, okay, tea bags are like they're okay, but no, I needed to get some good stuff. So I went more.
Well,
for
what prompted that decision? Just your own?
I wanted to explore. I know there was a lot out there. I
Okay.
knew there was like some far better things than just adding milk and sugar to this very bitter stuff. So yeah, and then I mean it weren't good stuff. It was like still in tea bags, but
Yeah.
slightly better quality.
Yeah, we won't mention any brands.
Yeah, no brands. But and then I got into uni and started trying to learn more about it, and obviously came across YouTube and you guys.
Yeah.
And you know, the wealth of information that you guys give just like set me on a journey really, and like it was magic from there. Like,
So is it a bit surreal to be sitting on this sofa?
from like coming from the opposite side, it's super weird.
Is
Yeah,
it?
it's super weird. Yeah. I mean, it's cool though. It's
It's
really cool. Yeah.
So George and I were kicking back last night on a hardcore session of Jade Star 4.
Yeah, I was too excited for that, and
Yeah.
like, it just carried on going.
And I asked George, what would you like to make a video about as a tea head, as somebody who's really diving into this world? What do you want to know more about? Why don't you tell everybody what you said to me?
Yeah, so I mean, like there's so much I still want to learn, but one of the main things that I'm struggling to discern between are the differences between different raw pu'erhs, mainly. Just because I got hooked on like Young Gushu, I think it was like 2017. And like from then on I was like, wow, okay, I like this punchiness, this power that comes from these teas. And I started trying different ones, but I don't know, they're so complex that it's like hard to get into them and like pick out things. And you know, what makes it a good one, what's a bad one.
I can totally understand it, and I'm sure that a lot of people out there also understand it, because pu'erh, in its essence, because of the fact that it's a relatively unprocessed tea, or it doesn't go through much processing, that means that first of all, it's very terroir driven, right? So it's really gonna reveal the terroir a lot more than a tea which has been crafted a lot. And the reason for that is because when you craft a tea, for example, with Taiwanese oolongs or Chinese oolongs, you know, or Japanese greens, obviously terroir is fundamentally important. The quality of the plant is fundamentally important, of course, but there's more ability for you to sort of create shapes in flavor. So you can accentuate certain notes, a floral note or a honeyed note.
Out.
Yeah, and you through the processing, through many years, centuries of understanding how to work with the leaves, you can start to create sort of more defined flavor profiles. Whereas because pu'erh is relatively unprocessed, the joy of pu'erh, but also the frustration sometimes with raw pu'erh, is that it's just left.
It's wild.
And so therefore it's wild, and the flavor is quite amorphous, and the flavor is quite undefined.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so when you're tasting a raw pu'erh, especially when you're not tasting back to back like we're going to do today, but if you're tasting just one and then maybe in a few weeks' time you're tasting another, it can sometimes be hard during the session to grasp onto which flavor notes you pick up.
Yeah.
And also to remember those for comparison to another one. So I absolutely understand what you're talking about, and I think it probably is a common frustration, which is why we decided to do this video. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be doing a back-to-back tasting to allow George and myself to hopefully pick up the differences because we're tasting directly. But ultimately what we want to try to get to today is to try to understand how to not just tease out the flavor of pu'er, but really assess quality. And I don't mean just in terms of like, you know, if it's high grade or low grade, but your own personal opinion of a tea. Yeah. Because I think that that's more the question you're asking. How do I define my own relationship with that tea? Yeah. How do I, you know, build up that knowledge of a tea, but also an experience that I can sort of embed in my memory, right? So what we've got today, George is lucky. We're going to use this opportunity to launch a new raw pu'er. This is a new Gushu PuErh 2019 Jingmai Gushu PuErh. This is Pollen Provider.
Wow.
Artwork, as always, courtesy of Celine behind the camera.
Beautiful.
And I love this one. I really love this artwork. The bee collecting the pollen with a net.
Let me see that.
So just dragging the net across this lovely field of blossoms.
Oh, yes.
And finger up in the air. Pollen Provider. So this is Gushu from Jingmai, and we're going to be comparing it next to Dream Scene Smuggler. We've done a video about Dream Scene Smuggler that was on IGTV, so you may have missed it if you're watching on YouTube. So Dream Scene Smuggler is our blend, as you know, of Myanmar and Yunnan tea. It's also a Gushu. Let's bring out these leaves. I tell you what, we'll put these leaves here. And let's quickly scope these teas. They're both from March 2019 this year, so they're both fresh, so like for like tasting. Right. The cultivar, the Dream Scene Smuggler, is the Daiyezhong. The Jingmai has its own sort of microgenetics, which is the Zhongxiao Yezhong, which is slightly smaller leaves, and it's very particular to that area. This is from Jingmai. This is a mix of Myanmar, Guogan, and Hebei in Yunnan, so it's a combo of Myanmar and China. The picking of these are both going to be similar, bud and up to 3 to 4 leaves. Elevation is 1,600 for the Jingmai and between 1,000 and 1,350 meters for the Dream Scene Smuggler. Whoa. Are you ready to get stuck in, George?
I'm a bit too excited. I'm a bit too excited right now.
All right, let's warm up these blue guy ones so we can sniff those dry leaves. So as I said, I mean, I understand this dilemma, or this not dilemma, but this issue. I think that in many ways, that's sort of what makes raw pu'er so addictive.
Yeah. Because
you're constantly chasing that.
You're constantly trying to
unfurl it. Yeah. So, you know, I don't think it's sort of something that you should shy away from or consider a negative. And because pu'er has such a clear descriptor of terroir in terms of flavor, you know, it's going to be like that, isn't it? It's like you go from landscape to landscape, you're going to notice similar things, but it's about trying to pick out the character more than the flavor. And so when we do these tasting notes, oftentimes you'll see me and my guests coming up with flavor notes, but actually, truthfully, some of the best ways to experience pu'er is to not think about those too much and allow them to sort of come to you.
Right.
But let's see what we can do here. Right, let's dive into Dream Scene Smuggler. We'll do a quick nose dry leaf.
Whoa, okay. Well, that's deep. Ooh,
deep.
Fruity.
Clear the mind and allow the instincts to take over when you're defining flavor, right? So just allow memories. And oftentimes you've got to shoot from the hip a little bit.
Yeah.
Very different?
Yeah, very different. I got some zest in there.
So here I'm getting dried apricots for sure. I'm still getting the creaminess that I got when I first tasted this tea. In the notes, I think we wrote white chocolate. I'm getting that as well. So I'm getting white chocolate and apricots. I'm getting just a more creamy note.
Oh, I get that white chocolate vibe.
Yeah, it's got a creamy note to it,
for
right?
Sure.
Very, very different, this one.
Oh, yeah. That one blew me away a little bit.
Pollen Provider. For those of you who know Jingmai, Jingmai is often referred to as one of the more aromatic or fragrant led pu'er regions.
Okay.
Very, very much more of those high, bright aromas, floral. But I think that does it a disservice at times because Actually, there's a lot of depth in here as well.
There's some warmth,
Yeah.
warm, sweet notes in there.
I get fennel seed on that.
Fennel seed.
Yeah. We've got to be careful here that we don't mix these up. It's all right.
Yeah, I can see that as well.
You know, a slight anise note. Let's reveal more by smelling those wet leaves.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this.
And then hopefully, through a back-to-back tasting, you're going to have such a direct experience of the differences.
Because that is definitely the thing. Like, you try one pu'erh, and then it might be a couple of, like, well, for me in the shop anyway, I mean, we're testing a lot. But we've got so much tea to go through. Like, you're not going to be trying them close enough together to be able to actually discern these little things.
And a lot of times, you know, whilst we love a double drop session, we love to do this back to back. A lot of times it's also to really understand the tea. You want to sit with it so that the body sensation and the aftertaste is purely of that tea.
Yeah.
But this is also very useful as well. Ooh. Little incense note happening. I'm getting orange juice.
Oh, it's definitely orange in there.
Or maybe mandarin, definitely one of those types of fruits. Ooh, wow.
And like a herbaceous note, like you were saying, like the anise sort of vibe, or some kind of herby.
Yeah,
it's there.
I would say it's more on the deeper end of the spectrum than this one. This one here.
This one's fragrant.
Very fragrant, very bright.
Oh my God.
Very bright. So Jingmai, very famous for those high, bright aromas. It's there, very fragrant. But also, what I get here is, it's like shampoo. Or like, you know, a face cream, but more like a shampoo. Like it's got that very sort of perfumed, floral,
fresh vibe,
fresh, bracing, you know, aroma.
This is really
reminds me of like when I was a kid. You know, when you first buy hair gel.
Yeah,
you know,
the first
hair gel you've ever bought, and it's like, ooh, I'm an adult.
Straight with the brand there, but I was like, no, don't do that. Yeah, no, for definite.
You know what I mean?
Back your hair,
it's
loads of gel.
It's got that really fresh hair gel note to it.
Proper perfume.
That brought me back for sure. All right, we've got 94-degree water. It'll do. You're going to be in charge of pouring this one.
Okay.
We'll do 20-second brews but I'm always wrong with my timing, as everybody on YouTube would know.
Oh yeah. Hopefully I won't do it too inaccurate.
Right. What's your internal clock like?
I don't know. I think it's good. I've always got like a ticking watch on, so you know it's embedded in my head now.
You're gonna go filterless? No.
No filter.
No filter, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably so off.
No, I don't think it is. We'll probably do it at 25 seconds would be my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's always deceptive when you're here. Right, so Dream Scene is going to go in these brushed earth cups.
Cool.
So let's serve up. Give this a taste.
Oh, I'm ready for this.
You ready?
I am.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
So you tell me what you normally do through the taste appreciation of pu'erh. That might be the best way, rather than me leading it. Yeah. What do you look for? What are you trying to tease out? What's going on in your head?
Okay, so with raw pu'erh, I know there's going to be this definitive, like I always say in the shop, there's a raw pu'erh taste that comes through with everyone, and then it's about getting underneath that initial layer and digging deeper,
right,
and working out what this tea's about, really, you know. And that's what I'm trying to do. The first couple of sips are like, okay, this is the tea. You just get it full on in your face, and then you slowly break it down.
Which is the way to do it, because I think that one thing is true is when you have a flavor profile which is so sort of wide and so fleeting as well. That's another thing about pu'erh, is that the flavors will change through infusion a lot more because of the fact that all of the spectrum of flavors have been left in the tea. They can have different moments to shine depending on the brew, and that's why again it becomes an obsession, because of the fact that you can always get a different experience out of it. But having said that, the other side of it is, as you say, it's also just raw pu'erh taste, right? And a lot of the time, in order to understand the pu'erh in terms of flavor, or to get the flavor notes to come out, you need to focus, you need attention, you need to, as you say, sort of peel back the layers, allow this sort of continuous evolution in your palate, and just be watching it, observing it.
That's the difference between raw pu'erh and a lot of different things. You're constantly like alert with what could happen with this.
Yeah,
you know,
it forces observation.
Yeah,
it's very easy to drink raw pu'erh, and there's nothing wrong with this actually. To drink raw pu'erh and just drink it and get on with your day and enjoy it. That's fine, as long as you're still enjoying the tea. But if you want to start to discern differences, then it does require, more than most teas, I would say, a sort of an attention.
It's an attention
to it.
Yeah.
And that attention needs to be, well, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but I think it needs to be relatively abstract. You can't.
It's not going to be pinned down.
Yeah, it's very difficult to pin it down. Okay, so just so we are clear on that, very smooth. Very lovely sweet finish at the end. I would say it's got a creamy nature to it.
It's mainly creamy.
Yeah, it's got a lovely creamy sort of rice milk, toasted rice. All right, have a little taste of Pollen Provider. Jingmai, 2019.
Oh, wow.
Bright.
Yeah, that's bright, that's zingy. It's like they go well together, like as a partnership. This one's like the smooth, easy rider. This one
is a much more awake, right? It feels brighter. We often talk about lower, bassier flavors and more high echelon flavors. This is definitely brighter than the other one. I'm getting that orange zest in there, but I'm also getting floral notes. I'm getting that face cream and hair gel freshness.
It still comes through.
I'm getting a spicy fennel. And in fact, the fennel is a perfect example because it's a sort of green sweetness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This one's more, I would say, in the milk chocolate and creamy, sweet.
Round flavor.
Yeah, round. This one's a little bit sharper and a bit more green in its sweetness, right?
Yeah.
And of course, we are only on infusion number 1. And this is just waking up.
That gets me more excited.
Classic Jingmai flavor, but I think also some of the problems I think when I drink Jingmai tea is it can be only fragrance led.
Right.
Where you have very nice aroma, very nice fragrance.
Nothing else going on.
But the texture is too light, you know, and we selected this Pollen Provider because we really love the fact that it still had a good
it's got some
edge to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So back to back with Dream Scene Smuggler.
Oh, this is luxury right now. This is
welcome to the couch, George.
Oh man.
Toasted rice. I'm getting that rice milk. I'm getting grains. I'm getting even a bit of corn, maybe.
When you compare them back to back, this one really goes to that toasted, creamy side.
Yeah.
Like in comparison.
Yeah. This is almost like the milk that you get after eating sort of Rice Krispies. You know, puffed rice.
The residue.
Yeah, it's that sort of toasted rice.
A bit sweetened.
Yeah. Delicious. All right, let's boost these up. Round 2.
Let's do it.
What about finish? What about mouthfeel?
I can't remember which one I tried last now, but it's left me with some good bite.
Yeah.
You know, some dryness that is giving my mouth like some freshness when like my breath is coming through.
So you're getting a cooling
sensation on it.
Yeah.
But again, I can't remember which one we had last.
Well, so this is the challenge that we always have when we're doing our tastings, when we're selecting teas, especially when you've got like 10, 20, 30, 40, even more teas to taste, to assess quality. And it sort of comes with experience that you learn to judge relatively quickly after you swallow. The mouth taste and the finish will reveal itself relatively quickly. And then, showing off. Okay, fine.
That's the Don special.
I'll do the roll up.
Yeah.
It's been a while. You've certainly been watching the videos.
Oh, you know it. You know it.
Okay, let's go Jingmai first. Come on.
Yeah.
Now let's try and assess mouthfeel and finish, right? We can talk flavor a little bit, but let's try and assess mouthfeel and finish with this one. I'm getting flowers there. I'm getting lily of the valley. Again, we're in that sort of face cream sort of territory.
The flowers opened up a lot more this time. I was getting a lot of zesty orange, like warm flavor at first.
Yeah. Now, and also the bitterness is coming through, right?
Yeah.
That fennelly, anisey, herbal green bitterness is coming through.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is really, really, I think, a character of Jingmai tea.
Is it?
Yeah. You've got those bright, fragrant, sweet floral notes, but it's always cut with a sort of fresh herbal bitterness. Maybe is the wrong word, but it's got this sort of bracing quality.
It's a
right?
bracing, yeah. It grips you in the mouth, and you're like, okay, I'm there. I'm there with you. Like, there's energy in that tea.
All right, now focus on mouthfeel. How is it making your tongue feel?
It's fizzy, like
Very
at the
fizzy,
front.
yeah.
At the front, especially.
Yeah.
I've got like cooling breath going over my tongue, like it's like I'm outside right now. It feels active.
Yeah.
It's very active.
I would agree. I think that you can tell, and this is what I mean, when you're doing multiple tea tastings in one go, this is what you're looking for, is like, how instant is that hitting me?
Yeah.
How active is it? And it's not, again, we said about quality. That's not to say that means it's better. Some people prefer a softer. Some people prefer something less active. I get the feeling from your that you prefer more zingy teas, a bit more active tea.
I like a bit of punch.
You like a bit of punch. You like the effect, huh? Because generally when you have that, as you probably know, you know that it's going to have quite an active body sensation. It's going to be, you know, something that's going to keep you going.
Yeah.
So you can, even though you're tasting multiple teas, you can just take that extra 10 seconds, 20 seconds when you're tasting a tea. Focus on the mouthfeel. Just again, it's about observation. Focus on the mouthfeel, and then you'll get an idea. What about finish in terms of taste?
It's still good, like it's still there.
Yeah.
As you breathe, it's just coating your tongue more and more.
It's unbelievable.
I really like that one.
Oh, and it's just got that very Moorish thing, isn't it?
It's a bite. It's a bite, and
it's
it
a
leaves
bite.
you
You
like,
just
okay,
want
I
to
need to keep going. Yeah.
It's very bright, and it's got the orange is there. I'm getting flowers, lily of the valley. I'm getting a little bit of lilac as well. I'm getting fennel. I'm getting still a little bit of toffee in there, just enough.
Undertone.
But it's very much in that sort of bright, bracing. Hello, this is a.
That's the headline.
Yeah, this is a definitely got that bee pointing to the sky. Right. Now, back to back with Dream Scene. Let's focus obviously on taste, but now let's focus again on mouth, feel, and finish. Do you still think raw pu'ers taste the same?
No way. Wow. Oh, it's just a completely different experience.
It is, isn't it?
Again, it's that raw pu'er taste is there, but in a different. It's like it's got a different personality.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's smooth. It's got a bite.
Yeah.
But it's not like, it's not active, like rush energy, pow.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
The bite on this is more like it sort of lays down this sort of dry, like blanket on your tongue.
That's it.
And it's sort of a little bit more comforting.
Yeah.
It's a little bit softer. It's got much more of those starchy notes to it, right? It feels like you can taste in the tea that there's more sort of sugars and starches in there. Mouthfeel, still got bite, still got energy, but less tingly.
Less tingly, for definite.
Right?
Yeah.
It transforms itself a little bit, though, to, on the back of my tongue, I'm getting like a nice fruitiness.
Yeah, it's building. It builds at the back.
Yeah.
Actually, it's really sweet at the back.
Yeah. you get the sweet fruitiness,
Yeah.
like here down your throat. Less cooling than this one.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you ready to do a blind taste on this? Every guest has to do a blind taste. Close your eyes.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to start with this one here. Okay, hand out.
Nice. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
oh. This, here you go. Which one's which? It's harder when you close your eyes, I tell you. Try it yourself at home. It's always harder when you close your eyes.
Okay, well, the first one I feel like was the Pollen Provider.
Why do you say that?
It gripped me.
You can open your eyes now.
Oh yeah. It gripped me, and you know I was getting those flavors come through, the sharp edges, and
Yeah.
with the second one it was more like a smoothing over.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm alright.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I should have said that. Well done.
Thank
Congratulations. You're right.
Thank God.
So it's useful to do this A/B
Yeah.
because you can then demonstrate that there are differences and that they're very clear to discern. But I also think that trying to assess a pu'er is a very elusive thing. And that's the joy of pu'ers.
Yeah.
It's not something that should frustrate you. It's
No.
something that you should enjoy.
Yeah.
The
That's
fact
part
that
of
it changes, the fact that it's awkward, the fact that one session will taste different to another. Sometimes you sit down and you have sessions and you're like, wow, that tastes like a completely different tea.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
And it might be that you brewed with exactly the same parameters.
Yeah.
But, you know, just somehow it's elusive.
It's untamed.
It's exactly.
Yeah.
It's untamed. All right, let's smell these empty gong dabes one more time, just to give them their due. I have to say, this Pollen Provider has really, really made my day because it is so active. It's so bright. It's so in your face, and that dry quench, that bite is very addictive. Frozen orange juice and lilies.
Oh yeah, like an orange crush.
Yeah. Oh. And
That's like honey.
this is,
Milk and honey in that one.
yeah, I was going to say tapioca and honey, but
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
sago, tapioca. Let's brew one more infusion. We've got lots of tea to drink today, George, but that's
never a bad thing.
never a bad thing.
That is never a
so
bad
you
thing.
keep your eyes on that.
Yeah.
So when we're in China and you're drinking tea with pu'er farmers, it's always really useful to sort of see how they appreciate the tea,
Yeah.
right? Because, you know, they're drinking it all the time. And what I'm always noticing is that they hardly ever talk about flavor,
Really?
hardly ever talk about taste,
Okay.
hardly ever. Everything is more about the character of the tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's more about how did it make you feel. Fundamentally important is how does your mouth feel afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're brewing strong, I like
Oh
it.
yeah. We're going now though.
George, man.
I like heavy hitters. What can I say?
A man
I like to get a punch.
after my own heart. Going for the hardcore brews. We've got about 8 grams of tea here for, I don't know, 150 mil. But lovely, nice, good coloured liquor here. So yeah, it's focusing on character, focusing on body sensation, mouth, feel, and aftertaste. It's much more about the sort of feeling you're left with, rather than trying to grapple with this sort of elusive flavors that you know are very much mixed in with each other. So you're going from woods to flowers to soil to mushrooms to cream to, you know, and it's all so blended and so closely
gonna be able
knit
to
together
pinpoint them.
that trying to pick them out
Yep.
is a fun challenge to do. We certainly enjoy doing it, but for these farmers, that's not really their
That's
bag.
not the
That's
point.
not what they're doing. What they're saying is, how does it make you feel? What is the aftertaste? And interestingly, what I find is when I'm doing my tasting notes, that the real tasting notes come half an hour after you've
Yeah.
drunk the tea.
Yeah. You've absorbed it.
You've absorbed it. Yeah. You've taken it in. It's sort of built up layer by layer on your tongue.
It's the personality. It's like trying to describe a person that you know. Like, you don't want to break them down into like, oh, they're funny, they're blah, 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 they're good at this, because it's so much more than that.
Especially if they're a multifaceted person.
Exactly.
Right? If it's somebody that is sort of, you know, a little bit more one-dimensional in their character, then they go, oh yeah, he or she is like that.
Yeah.
But when you've got someone that's a little bit more complex,
you can't break it down.
You can't break it down like that. No. You can say you just got to meet them.
You got to meet them, and then you feel about it afterwards.
So with pu'er, exactly the same. With pu'er, with raw pu'er especially, it's so interesting and it's addictive because of the fact, and in many ways, it's very tea.
Yeah.
Because what one of the lessons of tea is that it requires focus, but it also requires emptiness.
Yeah.
You know, in order for you to appreciate things, you know, you need the two. There's the dynamic, and the truth of a tea lies through the motion, through that dynamic, through observation and attention to just sort of letting it affect you.
Let it do its thing.
You know, it'll come to you, right? So if you are finding it frustrating to sort of watch our videos and taste raw pu'ers and you're finding it hard to tease out the flavors, then please don't let that frustrate you. In fact, let that motivate you. Allow a certain emptiness to sort of be part of your tea ceremony.
You're observing it. You're observing it, and you got to let it do its thing. You got to let it do its thing.
You got to let it do its thing, and you will find your relationship with that tea just through drinking it. And you don't need to necessarily try and pinpoint every single flavor note. Oh my God.
I'm excited for this one to come into the shop.
Well,
oh my God.
It's thanks to you and your comment yesterday. It has to now be launched.
There we go.
We've been sitting on Pollen Provider for a little while. Bright, beautiful. All the things you love about a Jingmai with that slightly small leaf variety. I'm left with a nice feeling. I'm not sure which one is the more potent, but my guess would be
I would go for that one.
Jingmai is
just because of what it does to you there. Yeah. It makes me feel like, well, okay, that's that.
This would be my wake up. Hello, let's get on with the day.
And this is like, are you ready to
And that's like, it's still going to give you energy.
Oh yeah.
But it's going to be like kick back, comforting.
That's it.
I can imagine this on a colder day.
Yeah.
Rainy and miserable outside.
You want to be comforted.
You just want to be comforted with a little bit of a sort of milky, creamy, but still fruity tea. Both teas, obviously in stock.
I just want to keep drinking, man.
Well, we're going to keep drinking. So, if you've got any questions about pu'er, stick them down in the comments section below. We will try to answer them. If you would like to see more of George, then say so in the comments section below too. If you're ever in London, then come and visit the tea house and you can have a chat with him in person.
Come say hi.
That's it, tea heads. Check out our other videos, taste our teas wherever you are in the world by browsing mayleaf.com. And if you're ever in London, then come see George at the tea house. Other than that, this is George. I'm Don from Mayleaf. Thank you for being a part of the revelation of true tea. Stay away from those tea bags. Keep drinking the good stuff and spread the word, because nobody deserves bad tea. Bye.
Bye.